Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Highly Strange Days. I'm Amy. As we sit and jury watch on the Delphi case trial, I thought we'd unleash the psychics and see what they have to say. This case is the most important case to watch of 2024, in my opinion, and here's why. You can't watch it unless you travel to Delphi, Indiana, and manage to get one of 28 seats allotted to the public. No audio equipment of any kind is being allowed in the courtroom. That and a man was taken straight to prison and held there for 14 months or so in solitary confinement, rolling around on the ground naked, eating his own excrement before his trial even took place. They said, oh, he's fine. He's faking it. And there's more. Oh, there's more injustices in this case. But this is just the intro, as I always say. Look. Do I want a man to walk free if he read rum to young girls? No. But do I want a justice system that would do this to a man before he is convicted? Nope. Anyway, it's Sunday and we get a little more soulful on the Power Network. So let's see what the psychics have to say before we knew now what we know now, and also see if they've changed their tune now that we know now what we know now. I'm going to roll some credits while we wait for the rest of the power crew to roll in. I'm sure you're here by now. And special shout out to the replay crew. How you doing, you guys? I love you. Have I told you that lately? Hey guys, welcome to Highly Strange Days. I'm Amy.
And I'm Shannon.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Here in the blue, I'm dancing with you tonight, and it feels fine.
We have the Dragonfly of the Month, but I haven't picked one for November yet because of all the computer problems. I will do that. And yeah, it's just a way to help me out and a way for me to give back. It's like a give and take. When we have merch, there'll be discounted prices for the members. And I also want to say a quick thank you. There's other ways that you can support us. I threw my phone down. Does anyone else do that? You look at your phone and then you throw it, and then you're like, where did I throw it? Let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. So we have other ways that you can help our channel. And two of them are Cashapp and PayPal. And I want to say thank you to, I think it's main chick, Carrie. I don't want to say her name because it was a PayPal, and I don't feel comfortable when people use, like, I've never seen this name come through. So I think it's main chick, Carrie. So it's Carrie M. Thank you. And thank you to Jetica. And gosh, who's the other one? Oh shoot. There's one other person. I will think. What is the? It's like on the tip of my tongue. Where's my phone? Well, you know what?
Is it one of the Chris's?
No, it's not one of the Chris's. It's she donates quite a bit.
Oh.
Brooke. It's Brooke. Thank you, Brooke. So thank you guys. Those are all ways that you can donate, and it's Parawomenradio, and the women is spelled WEN, plural. So thank you so much for everyone. Any way that you can give to us is just beautiful. All right, so tonight we are talking about the Delphi case, which I can't stop talking about. Once I started, I couldn't stop because I was just shocked that this is going on in our nation, in the United States. Probably I shouldn't be shocked, but I'm shocked. I am shocked. I am shooketh that they took an innocent man and took him off to not jail, but prison. They put him in prison for like 13 months. And listen, guys, I might not get the exact, like, I might not get every single detail right, like I do on the cases, like on the Gypsy Rose case, I get quite a bit right. On the Watts case, you know, I can like just read it, but like the back of my hand, I don't know this case like the back of my hand. And somebody got very upset with me because I don't know, I think I said something like, oh, I know what I said. I said that her sister dropped her off and dropped the girls off at the trails. And then when she went to pick them up, couldn't find her. Well, it turns out that's the dad that went to pick them up. And they said, once I heard that, I couldn't listen to you. Like, okay, so I might not get everything right. I try to be as close to right as possible. And if I get it wrong and you tell me I get it wrong, I correct myself like I'm doing right now. So just a little warning that I might get, like I might have, I think he was there for 14 months in prison, but it might have been 13 months. So like between 12 and 14 months he was held in a prison with constant 24-hour. He was on red rum yourself watch, and he so, and the lights were always on. He was always being filmed. When he was taken like to the showers, he was cuffed up, which fully shackled, cuffed, and then they like walk you with a pole. And so anytime he was taken to the bath, this is an innocent man taken to the bathroom. That's how he was taken. And this guy, I watched this guy that was in prison. He said, and he was probably put in a cage to take the shower. And then, brought back, put into his thing. He was tased a few times because he wouldn't take his hands out from the slots, those slots where, you have to put your hands out for him to cuff you up. So they tased him.
Jesus.
He rolled around. There's like video of him. Nobody have seen. Only people that have seen it are the people in the courtroom, because the judge won't let any camera, audio, anything in there. Yeah, there's only like 28 or so seats for the public. And so he was rolling around on the floor naked, eating his feces, drinking his urine.
Oh, jeez.
And they're saying, well, he's faking it. This is a common way for him to just get out of his cell so that, he has some time chained to a table where men are screaming at him to unalive himself. Like, that's what he would want to do, probably, right? No. And he's also gone into like full-blown psychosis. And they're trying to argue that he hasn't gone into full-blown psychosis. And also he has confessed during this time. Before they put him into prison, he didn't confess. He was like adamant, I did not do this. I did not, would not, could not do this. And then once they get him into prison and they put him into this prison without he didn't even have a lawyer. He didn't have a lawyer for like a month. They sent him off to this prison. And so I just can't even with this case. And so
they're torturing him.
Yeah. And he went into psychosis and he confessed tons of times. He confessed to his mom. He confessed to his wife. He said he abused his sister. He abused his daughter. I mean, he was just on the confession train, you know, and then he wasn't faking it then. You know, like he was being truthful and honest according to them then, you know, like whenever he eked out a confession and they would write things down. Oh gosh. And these guards wore these Odinistic patches, and they think Odinism, the defense feels like Odinism is a part in this, but the judge won't let the Odinism defense in. The judge is keeping a lot of his defense out. I mean, it's just like crazy. And she's not letting the court cameras into the courtroom. It's just, I think, one of the most important cases of 2024 that needs to be watched for the fact that they don't want us to watch it. That they want him to be convicted. And the only evidence they have is an unspent bullet casing that they found between the two girls, and they couldn't match, and they said it matched. They said they found one of Richard Allen's guns, and it was the same gun or whatever, and they tried to match the bullet markings back to it, and they couldn't match the bullet markings because it was unspent, so they kept putting it through unspent, and they couldn't match it back. But then when they shot it, all of a sudden they could match it.
Huh.
Yeah, huh. It's just all like, that's the only evidence in all these confessions that he's now making after they put him into psychosis. That's the only evidence they have against him.
Now, does his sister or his daughter, do they...
They both testified that he did not do that.
Oh, okay. So is he the one who they took away his attorneys?
Yes,
for being
that's
ineffective?
another thing. The judge fired his attorneys. The attorneys took it to, a higher court. And usually the higher court will like listen to the case and be like, all right, well, they take it away and they read it, and it takes them a little time to rule on it. They ruled on it the same exact day that they were reinstated. So it was the judge. Everyone thinks the judge basically said, you guys need to get out of here. And yeah, that's what happened. Everybody thinks.
Wow.
So this case, let me just backtrack really quick. This case is of the red running of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, also known as the Delphi case. It occurred on February 13th, 2017 in Delphi, Indiana, United States. Their bodies were discovered near the Monai High Bridge trail, part of the Delphi historic trails, after the girls had disappeared from the previous day. The unalivings have received extensive media coverage thanks to YouTubers, I think, in part due to, they're saying, the video and audio recordings released by law enforcement that came from Jermaine's smartphone. It's the guy that tells them to go down the bridge. They released that, and they can't even, like, the people, the three witnesses that saw the bridge guy, didn't even in the courtroom say, you know how they say in his, bridge guy, like they would have said, like, is the guy that you saw on the bridge in this courtroom today? They didn't ask that question because none of them could say it was him. Like, one said he was like this kid that looked like Justin Timberlake, that was like 20 years old. Another said that he was tall and she was like 5'8". So, if you're 5'8", tall is tall, like, and Richard Allen is like, but I don't know. He, on his fishing license, sometimes it said 5'4", sometimes it said 5'6". You know how short guys play that little game. Like whenever I go out with a guy and they say they're 5'8", I say, listen, I'm 5'9". I'm gonna know if you're like 5'7" or 5'6". So you might as well just say it now. So, I mean, none of them could identify Richard. I mean, it's just, if this guy, and I don't know if he's guilty or not. I really don't. It doesn't sit well with me, some of the stuff that's happened with him. Like his confession on the phone with his grandmother, he sounded very coherent, but I don't know. I don't know if he just wanted it over or what, but I don't want to, oh God, I'm going to be more upset if this guy gets convicted than I am. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be upset if this guy gets convicted.
Yeah, I think I am going to too. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. Let's go over to chat and see what chat's saying, and then we're going to unleash the psychics and see what the psychics have to say.
I love our psychics.
Yes, I do too. I found some psychics that are like before the trial started, like 2 or 3 years, see what they're saying. Like, because I did a skincare and suspects with Angela from Angela's Aging Essentials. And at the time, I thought he was guilty. Because, I mean, they were like, this is a slam dunk, but now, no, this is 2024 is the year that I have learned you can trust nothing. Nothing.
That's sad.
Okay. Yes, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. It helps us dance out into the algorithm, party out there, bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help us out, and it's really, really appreciated. Be sure to share if you like it. And yes, all opinions are welcome as long as they're given with kindness. Even if you disagree with us, I can disagree. I'll still say I'm right, but I'll still listen to you, like that kind of deal. Unless you can change my mind. Hi, Into the Weeds.
Fellow podcasters listening?
Yeah, we've got a lot of other podcasters that tune in and listen. I was also supposed to be onto the Weeds podcast, but I don't know. I failed to show up twice, and I'm really ashamed about it. And I just have to reschedule with her.
You've had a rough summer/fall.
Yeah, it was really rough. Yeah. I got to give myself some grace. I've apologized to her, and she's accepted. So yes, we have other podcasters here.
That's exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. All right, so let's get this up and going. Let me get the psychic up.
Our first beautiful psychic.
Yes, this one. Hold on. This is different. Let me see. Can you see that?
I see your main screen with the TV
this
themes.
This is different because with the other one, I was able to just go down the screen and just press on it and say, I want to share this screen now. I want to share, instead of, in this one, it's making me have to come out of it and come into it. So I hope I can figure it out.
Ooh.
Okay, so Sloan Bella is very popular psychic. A lot of people like her. And this was 4 years ago. Uh, the way we do this over here is we will play a lot of clips, read a lot of stuff. I will put everything that we do in our show notes over on YouTube. I'll put the links. We often speed it up, talk over it. We do this for fair play use, but don't worry. We put everything over in the show notes for you on YouTube. It's down in the description. So this is Sloan Bella.
Another channeled video. This video is a little bit different because I'm channeling the energy around a cold case. A cold case that involved two young ladies out on a hike in the middle of winter on a very warm day, okay, February 13th, 2017. And I'm talking about the Delphi murders in Delphi, Indiana, in Deer Creek County. They were walking over the bridge, the old railroad bridge. Liberty's sister, I'm talking about Liberty Germain and Abigail Williams. Liberty's sister dropped the girls off for the hike, and Liberty's father came to meet them at the pickup point, and these two girls weren't there. Now, Abigail Williams, I had to look up her birthday, and I found no information on either one of their birthdays online, with exception to the actual date of birth. So no astrology chart that I could find to do this video. Abigail was born on June 23rd, 2003, and Liberty was born on December 27th, 2002. And these two little buddies went out on a hike, which is something that kids do. Oh my God, my kids did this in Los Angeles, let alone in the suburbs, over these beautiful hiking areas. And Liberty's dad was picking them up around 5:30 that night. The girls were not there. This did not cause him alarm at first because teenagers wander off, they do things, they talk to their
So
other.
I'm gonna move forward so that we can maybe land onto her psychic.
I heard a huge apology from Abigail to her mother. I heard, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I felt like she should have listened. I didn't hear those words, but I felt like that was going to be what I said next. I should have listened. Now, when I look into Abigail, she's a typical kid sitting on her bed, lying on her stomach. She's on her computer. She's on her phone. She's talking to people all over the place. Boys, she's boy crazy right now. Not hugely boy crazy, but slightly boy crazy. She's having fun talking to her friends. She's, talking to different people.
To me, I think Libby was the more boy crazy one. I don't think Abby was quite there yet, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Nobody to draw red flags about, though. Nothing like that. Now, Liberty or Libby was always keeping an eye on Abigail. She was like Abigail's big sister. Honest to God, she was like this. Abigail didn't give the impression of needing somebody to watch, but Abigail very much had a different personality when she was out in public than she did at home. So Libby was the one that was kind of always watching out for her. There was a very karmic sense and connection to these two women, young kids, young ladies, huge connection to them. And Liberty or Libby felt very, very attached to Abigail and wanted to watch out for her and wanted to do good for her. I see Abigail talking to different people. There's at least 3 different boys she's talking to online, and she's getting a kick out of all of this stuff. And she wants to stop doing stuff with certain family members. Like, she's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do it. Kind of reminds me of like when your kids hit 13 and 14 and you're like, do you want to go to grandma's for dinner? And they're like, no. I think I want to go out and rollerblade. I think I want to do anything but go with you for dinner anywhere, is what these kids say. She wasn't quite like that, but she was getting a little bit like that. So she was just in the process of maturing. I'm talking about Abigail. Libby was already mature, and Libby was always going to be the type. Libby was going to be a good mom. Libby was going to have 3 or 4 kids. She was going to be accomplished. She was going to do everything. She was very creative with her hands. She had this twinkle in her eye. She had this big heart. She really was very, very sweet. I'm going to say something. Libby was a little.
I feel like, this is all subjective. Wouldn't you say? Are you there? Am I here?
Oh, there we go. I forgot my mic was off.
Oh, because she's talking about things that are like they were best friends. We all knew that. Like, she was boy crazy. I don't know. I'm like not feeling it. I'm gonna try to move forward, and There's no like bookmarks, or I forget what they're called.
Carrying guilt and shame.
Chapter
Of course, you would be carrying this, but it's different than Libby's family. Much different. Libby is hiding behind something and she's peeking out. She's looking as Abigail is talking to this man. I see Abigail to the left. So if the trail,
hold on, she's talking about what happened.
Abigail and this man,
all right,
behind and from the side. The picture is a sense of I'm going to meet this guy. I wonder if I'll kiss him. It's
which is funny too, because now we kind of know what they actually did. So,
and is that what they did?
I don't know.
Nothing hugely wrong, nothing at all like that. But I see her walking and I see Liberty looking at her and I see somebody way back. They have not started crossing over the bridge. Now, I do not feel that that person is the person who murdered them. I do not feel that. If it is the person who murdered them, he looks different when he's back there than he does when I see the image up front. And by see the image, I hear the image in my head. Very clairaudient, this girl, talking all the time. That's how I'm receiving the information. So as she's walking over the bridge, it's Abigail who veers off to the side, okay? She veers off to the side. Liberty is down the trail farther. She's doing her own thing. She's looking at something. She's walking over there. Abigail is going again to the left, all right, off of this trail. To the left is where she's going. Liberty turns around and immediately sees somebody there, shocks her like this. She kind of ducks behind something. I'm actually seeing this. She sees Abigail and this man. She sees him from behind and from the side. The picture of the man on the bridge, or the man that the suspect, okay, that they show, does not feel correct to me. He does feel like somebody, but he's a secondary player. All right. So he could have just been there. He could have been going to meet his friend. I do think there's 2 people involved, but in fact, I feel at least 4 people know what happened. I feel like a bunch of people know what happened. I feel like they're not going to talk about it. They can't talk about it. They won't talk about it. So maybe I should say they are suspect of what happened. They think they know what happened.
So everybody thought in the beginning that it had to have been more than one person that did this. And now they're like, oh, no, Richard Allen, he's the only one that did it. And yet there was some DNA evidence that they didn't test. It was like a hair sample. And they were like, well, why didn't you test? It had a follicle on it and everything. And it was found in between one of the girls' hands. And they were like, why aren't you going to test this to the state? And they're like, oh, well, we want to save it. And it's like, save it for what? You've got the man on trial. What are you saving it for? You know? So
it's like they're just railroading him.
Yeah. It's insane. They, and with this Odin theory, there's guards in the prison that they put him in that were wearing patches on their shoulder that said, "In Odin we trust," on their uniforms. And yet they can't get an Odin is theory in there. They won't let them put an Odin is, yet there's guards walking around. And one of the news reporters was in Delphi, and they're like, I didn't really think much. I didn't really buy into this Odinist theory until a Jeep in Delphi pulled up in front of me, and it had an Odinist thing on the wheel well. And it's like, it's a thing. I think it's a thing in Delphi. And what it is white supremacist groups have taken over Odinism and kind of bastardized it and made it like not what it was, like it still is what it is, but and I think that's what it is.
That is such a shame.
Yeah.
Norse mythology is so rich.
Yes,
I love reading about it. And it's just a shame that they've taken that and
yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of I think I've got 2 grandparents that are from Scotland, or like that's where they originated from. And so I've always been drawn to runes. And I remember in college I had some. And then
you gave me runes.
Yeah, I made runes. I was really into runes. I need more. I need runes back.
Did you make those that you gave me?
I think I did.
Oh.
think I did.
I'm looking at them right now. I have them on a shelf.
Oh, I think I did. And they're very easy to make. And yeah, they're just like, I don't know. It makes me sad, the things that happen, but a lot of people think that more than, I mean, a lot of even the defense thinks that more than one person did this. The defense thinks that the girls were taken down the hill, put into a white van and drove off, and the state says that they were taken down the hill by Richard Allen, and then within like 20-30 minutes, with all these people walking around the trails in the middle of the day, did this to them. And also Libby, or I forget whose phone, one of their phones did some activity, like something got plugged into it in the middle of the night, but yet if they were supposed to have, according to the state, would have been unalived for hours by then. And I don't know. Also, it's come out that the girls suffered. They probably suffered. And were at least awake 5 minutes after what happened to them. And 5 minutes, that's a long time to
That is a long time.
be holding your throat while trying to keep, can't say what was happening,
Yeah.
And that's a long time. And there was transfer on the trees, so they were walking around. It was just, yeah.
That's so sad.
So let's keep going.
Yeah.
I thought we would move into, I think I figured out how to do it too. I've got to let the top, I got to move my, oh gosh, I'm not going to say, I don't know the words. I'm having like one of those days where I'm not remembering all the words, but like your taskbar, I need to move it down to the bottom instead of up at the top.
Oh, okay.
But I've got to Google how to do that first. Okay, this is Zelda Kelly, Seeing Crime. And she's going to do some tarot for us.
Kind of an emotional reading, but at the same time, I want
and by the way, she did this 12 days ago.
This to be very informative for you. I'm going to say right up front, there may be some trigger warnings. And so if details of a case bother you, I invite you to just kind of skip over this one. I love you. It's okay. Skip over it. Come back with the next one. We're reading today on the two young ladies from Delphi, Indiana, Abby Williams and Libby German. These two ladies were unalived near a railroad track, and it was very gruesome. And I'm not going to get into the details of the case because, well, I'm going to leave that up to the wonderful legal minds that we have out there. And I want to invite you to jump on over to attorney Melanie Little's channel. She is doing a fantastic job of explanations, as well as many others. But she was going through some of the court documents today that I saw, and I'll tell you, it really helps us to put things into perspective, since this case is not allowed to be televised. Can you imagine? I didn't think that we could get any worse than the Karen Reed case, but I guess that's what I get for thinking. This just seems to be so suspect. I have to be careful of what I say. So with that, I'm just going to say this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not law enforcement. I'm here because I have an opinion, and I'm here because I'm a card reader, and I read the cards, and I want to just maybe see if we can get some guidance and direction for this case. They have incarcerated a gentleman by the name of Richard Allen. I am suspect about that particular situation as well. We're going to see if he comes up. But before we get started, I want to give you the birthdays of Miss Abby and Miss Libby. I'm going to give you their corresponding zodiac cards. And if they come up in the reading, that's great. If they don't, that's great. We're still going to read for them. But I'm going to also explain some of the positions that they were in let's just get started. And thank you so much for being here. Please do me a favor, subscribe and hit the like button because it really helps me. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much. We profile high crime cases, and we just need to get our opinions out there. And you're more than welcome to put your opinion in the chat. But I'm also going to say this. Please be cautious about being snarky or being out of hand, because if YouTube doesn't block you, I probably will. And I know many of you, 99.9% are not like that, but I just have to say that because this case is so important. And these two young ladies suffered at the hands of some evil monster. And I just want to say that for them. Okay, so Miss Abby Williams was born June 23rd. And I'm going to say this is her significator card. She is the card of the Chariot. This is for Cancer, the sign, the zodiac sign of Cancer. She takes on this charioteer, being able to be guide and direct, and all these wonderful attributes of this particular card. Now, Miss Libby is a Capricorn. She was born December 27th. And I'm going to say this, okay? I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to put the brakes on. This has nothing to do with what she went through. In fact, I'm going to tell you I hate this. My son is a Capricorn. Many other people are Capricorns that I know and love. And that does not mean that they are this or that this is involved or any of these sort of things. It just is the name of the card. In fact, this isn't even really a devil. This is a Baphomet. And I want you also to know that these two young ladies, in my opinion, as far as the tarot readings are concerned, if they came to me, I would not read for them. Why? I have this telepathy oracle card deck. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to pick a card just to get us started, just to set the tone, and we'll see what the cards say. The soul. Your soul is preparing to reestablish trust in the process. Isn't that amazing? That kind of gives me chills. We're going to set this over to the side for these two young ladies and bless them. All right, here we go. Setting this to the side as well. Now, before I lay out the cards, I want to talk to you about what is coming up a lot for them, and that is Odinism or Odism, which is a Norse type of religion.
Let's go forward and get her doing the cards.
The suits only, it's only the major arcana that goes up more than the number 10s. And when you reach the number 10, it's like you have gotten through this cycle or a journey or a chapter in your book of life, and then you kind of sort of start over. And it depends on what you learn and what you don't learn. And that, I mean, this could be a whole other video, and I'll make it that. But an interesting thing here is this. There's a symbol here in this little knapsack that this guy has, and that is of the phoenix, which, of course, we know rises from the ashes. So there's a lot of other symbols in this particular card we're not going to get into today, but I wanted to just let you know that is a part of this journey as well. Now, here we go. Trigger warning, okay? I'm just going to say, we're going to talk about some things. I'm going to be gentle about it because
I have no patience for when
this stuff is...
It's 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
So it really is gruesome, all right? I'm going to try to describe it in a not so gruesome way if I can. So the two young ladies were left in two separate positions. Now, I believe by looking at renderings and drawings, because they're not publishing these crime scene photos because they are so gruesome, that they reminisce these two cards. Now, there is a connection between the tarot and runes, which I do believe that they have some runes also that was positioned on them as twigs.
Yeah, that's another thing. The defense says that the twigs put on them were like positioned in a specific way, and the state will have us believe that it was just just thrown on them to cover them, but it barely covered them.
That's interesting. Do they have pictures? They don't have pictures of that, right?
Well, I mean, nobody can see it because you can't. There's drawings that you've seen people write on their little court pads, but you can't. You don't know.
Magician card is a position in which Miss Libby was put in, sort of, kind of, as they say. She had twigs over top of her, but she had one arm up and one arm down and more or less looking to the side. Now, this card doesn't do that. But I will tell you, in the rune, this is called the Anzuz or Anzuz. It depends on how you want to pronounce it. A-N-S-U-Z. That is the Norse rune for this particular card. This magician card is very powerful. It means that you have power and potential. But it's with one arm up and one arm down. It's a unification of the physical and the spiritual, bringing both together. There's a saying over this card, as above, so is below. This is, when you see it upright like this, you are to use the power that has been given to you for help and understanding, guidance, direction, using all elements, because you see you've got the pentacle, the cup, the sword, and the wand here, which equate to the water, earth, air, and fire. You're supposed to use this to help and not harm. Now, I do not read reverse. That is a preference. Many do. My hat's off to you. I've never read reverse cards because to me, well, life is a little hard to begin with, and I don't need to make it harder by trying to explain that this card really makes it look bad if it comes out reverse. I know many of you understand that. It's a preference. It's whatever your opinion is.
Preference. I think reverses should be read, but it is a preference.
I read them when I feel like it should be noted.
I mean, here's the thing. If you can't make nice with your dark side, then you're really imbalanced, in my opinion. And if you can't, like, your dark side can't make nice with your light side, then, you know, it's all about a yin and a yang type deal.
Well, and then there are times when, you know, the right side up is bad and the reverse is good.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
It's whatever is up to you.
I was doing some research on the tarot, and I had no idea that it was like this. It was never, I always thought it was like created by this mystical type deal, but it was like a parlor game trick that's turned into something that people use to actually communicate, but it was back in the spiritualism days.
Strange.
It was just something fun to do.
They are fun.
They are fun. I don't have any anymore, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Life's been hard. Last 10 years, I've lost everything.
I still have my Alice in Wonderland tarot that I got when I was with you in Coldwater.
Do you? I see. The only thing that I really loved were the animal medicine. I really like, because I really communicate with nature and the animal spirit. I think that, like, the divine will talk to you in ways that you understand. So, like, if you are, like, saying, hey, talk to me through this, then yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And so the animal medicine, but I lost those too. So I'll get them. I'll get some back. Someday I have a vision of making my own animal medicine tarot deck or something.
That would be awesome.
A power deck.
I would totally buy those.
Let's talk about the reverse.
Dragonfly.
So the reverse of this is being unsure of a path, what to take, what to do, that there's change imminent.
But I really want
so let's remember
what
this.
he has to say about Richard Allen. So we're going to get past this and go into this, because I have one more I want to show too.
We're asking, give us some insight, deep dive into Miss Abby, Miss Libby. Tell us, give us a foundation, lead us, guide us into what it is we need to know. Sudden wealth. Okay, that may have something, and we're going to pay attention to these numbers up here too. They lost their lives on the 13th of February of 2017. So we have a thief, number 24, sudden jackpot, a number 11. Number 23 is the courthouse. Oh, yes. And boy, that courthouse has a lot of activity. And bless all those people, those attorneys that are going there to report everything back to us. Man, I'll tell you what, that's dedication. Number 36. There is, according to my understanding, we're going to put these to the side, an active, I guess, filing. I'm going to say this because I'm not an attorney, so forgive me. Petition to bring in all of the Odinism that we were just talking about. This Norse, the runes, the tarot, whatever it needs to be brought in, the position of these ladies, the sticks that were positioned on top of them.
He's really.
And the lawyer says she's going to take under advisement. Oh boy. Okay, so let's talk about this first. Sudden wealth. I believe there's going to be a sudden wealth of information that's going to be coming out here. But this thief card, not only were their lives taken, I believe that, and I don't know much about this case on the legal part of it, because I've just done a lot of research about this side of things. I think there's been a lot of lost evidence. There may have been some things that were taken other than the lives of Abby and Libby. The courthouse number 23. Now, Abby was born June 23rd. Libby was born on the 27th. We'll keep that in mind. But the courthouse is definitely where we are right now. And this distant horizon, it basically is saying, yes, there's a silver lining around every cloud. However, this is going to take us a little bit to get down to where we need to be. But I'd like some clarification on that sudden jackpot, please. If you could just give me some clarification on this particular card. Angels, Guide, Spirits, so we know exactly how to read this.
Are these cards that are tarot cards that they're calling, like one of, sometimes tarot cards called the major arcana, things different, the minor, the pentacles and, the 8 wands, where they just kind of like change it around and you don't know what card you're reading?
Yes, my Alice in Wonderland ones do that. The pentacles are oysters. The cups are hats. The the swords are flamingos, and the wands are, oh crud, I don't remember.
That's fun. But okay, so I guess you have to know what each number corresponds to, because she must be using the major arc. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
I have
either.
a hard time reading with them when I don't know what I'm reading.
Yeah. At that point, I just look at the picture and see what the picture tells me.
Yeah.
Mature woman. That's interesting. We're going to do one more.
Mature woman?
Community.
Is that the... no, she's 2.
Mature
Is that the
woman.
Empress? Is that the Empress?
Number 6. Is she number 6?
I don't know. I'll look it up. Because I
know.
have my Alice in Wonderland cards right here.
I don't think she's number 6, but I don't know. Community. Who would the mature woman be? Like, it would be the grandmother or the mother of the, because I know the grandmother, one of the girls was with the grandmother and then the other was with their mother. I don't know.
I believe that there is more than one person.
6 is the Lovers.
6 is what?
The Lovers.
Oh, the Lovers. No, I don't. This must not be the major arcana.
Oh, wait. Yeah, the Lovers.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it must be something completely different.
This is just one of those ones where
they made up their own shit.
Yeah, it's an oracle.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Involved in this, because something like this, I believe that Abby and Libby either knew this person or these people.
It's like, for me over here in this distant horizons, I would think travel. So I don't know.
Well,
it's looking at it, like it looks like it's a ship. Yeah.
It lost its anchor, so it's adrift.
Yeah. So maybe maybe it's saying that it's going to be deadlocked, which this is one of where they all have to agree. So maybe that's what it's going to be. And it's not going to make the parent, the grandmother happy or the community. But I do think the thief is that Richard Allen was robbed of 14 years in a prison.
Yeah.
14 months, I mean. I mean, is this what we're going to do with each other? Just haul us off to prison before we even, get tried?
It happens more often than we think.
Well, yeah.
Pardon me?
It does? Wait, it does? People get put in prison before they get tried?
Yeah, I mean, haven't you ever watched Law and Order?
Who gets put in prison? Not jail, prison, before they go to trial.
Well, the jails are small. So if they have to wait like a year for their trial, they go to prison.
So because all the lawyers are shocked about this prison thing.
Oh.
I don't think you ever get put in prison. before you get put in jail. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
And it's probably
If there was only
different
one
from state
person.
to state too.
Huh?
It's probably different from state to state too.
Yeah, well, and he eventually did get taken out of it. They moved him after enough stink, and because they tried to get him moved, and the judge, like after 6 months, and the judge is like, "Oh, you're exaggerating," and then in trial, they're showing how awful the conditions are, and him rolling around naked. I mean, just like people
Ugh.
said that they were horrified by what they saw.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know.
Especially since he is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, and also he had like a diagnosis where he was already fragile. He was already a fragile duck. So, and also people are like, well, he got taken out, and and he got rec time, and it's like, but prisoners are saying rec time is just being taken out and chained to a table where you get to sit outside of your cell. That's rec time,
Oh, geez.
you don't know what rec time really is. And would you be able to withstand 14 months like that? I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it. I would be I don't want to say I'd be eating my feces, but I'd be rolling around naked for sure.
Yeah, it would take a lot for me to do that, to eat my own feces. Ugh.
Yeah. I wouldn't be doing it just to get out of my cell, and I'm a
No.
loner. I could probably withstand quite a bit,
Me
but
too.
yeah. 14 months though is a long time.
Yep, it sure is. All
Okay,
right, let's see what else she has to say.
Yeah.
One of these young ladies could have ran away. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. I may be reaching for the stars on that one. The energy here is just so thick. But I believe that there is a female involved in this. Everybody's pointing the fingers at men. I believe there's also a female involved. And I think that there's others that feel the same way. We're going to see. I know the community is just completely out of their minds over this. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Ooh.
And this is an air element that is also talks about messages. It talks about different directions. The number 3 is very significant. Doesn't surprise me. Let's see what lands on this death card. Oh, yeah. Now, this particular card means the end of the journey. It does not necessarily mean it is describing the crime scene. I just want you all to know that. This card means that there have been a lot of hard lessons that have been learned. However,
Diddy's in a federal situation. It's not a state situation. It's a federal situation that Diddy's in.
Be looked at as temporary because the truth will come out. Tomorrow's another day. And the sun is coming up on a horizon, which I do believe if our legal friends that are in the courtroom, and as far as the defense attorneys are going, I mean, I think some things are going to start coming out. This is basically saying, how do we unpack this? Where do we put this information that is coming out? How do we handle that through consistency? But it's like there's a question of how can this be done? We have a difficult judge, an Auntie Bev's sister.
Isn't that
In my opinion,
interesting that that's laying over the court with the difficult judge?
I'm sorry, is there what?
Page of Pentacles.
It's leaning over the court with the difficult judge.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this doesn't necessarily mean money, but what it does say is that there are messages coming.
Means action.
There's more to meet the eye. My question is, okay, I just want to ask this. This card represents Mercury, the planet. This card represents Neptune, the planet. However, it is also representative of water. Wasn't this near some type of stream? Or of course it was. So my other question is, what if whomever took the crime scene photos took them in the wrong direction? Can we think about that? I mean, we'll never know. But let's just take a minute maybe and turn them in reverse. Because, see, it's a natural thing to when you go to take a picture of a crime scene, it is taught, it is natural to take it from the feet looking onward up toward the head. Keep the head at the top of the photo. And possibly it's this way as well. But what if we took those photos? Okay. Here we go. Let's continue.
Well,
There's messages. There's more.
I missed that point. What was the point of her flipping them upside down like that?
I think she was comparing them to the placement of the bodies, maybe, and how maybe they took the pictures upside down so they didn't match the cards exactly.
Gotcha.
Going to be coming out. Let's lay out another 2 or 3 cards on this. And there, my darlings, is Libby. We're definitely going to have to clarify that card. You see, that's a confirmation. That always gives me the chills when this sort of thing happens.
That is a confirmation.
Ace of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
It's a timing card. That's interesting. Someone feeling that they've got away with something and they're reliving it as this trial goes on.
Well, someone did get away with something.
They're living their own
Yeah, they
life.
did.
Watching. They are a spectator. This is a card in which it means
Lots of swords and pentacles.
most of the information, because you see, the swords are air element. They are connected to communication. There's water. I believe that, and the water is flowing. All water in the tarot come from the high priestess robes. And while it flows, it means truth, love, justice, caring, courage, all of those wonderful positive attributes. And it's continuing to flow. But let's really go on a limb here. What if this is Lady Justice and she is tied up? What if, because we have this water, what if these are the messages that are being squelched? There's a way for them to get out. Because these swords do not go all around this lady. Her bandages on her ropes look as though they're going to be a lot easier. They're loose. She can get out, which I'm wondering, will these things come out? Yes. I'm of the mindset that truth always prevails. Justice always prevails. And it's unfortunate. Oh, look at this, my darlings. Look.
Oh, that's me.
Can't make this up. This is the high priestess. The water comes from her robes. You see, part of this is, you see what's on her lap? The Torah, which is the first books of the Bible written by Moses, also called the Septuagint in the Greek. This is basically saying that there's no gray area here. It's either black or white. That's it. There's a spiritual connotation that goes along with that too.
So it's either he did it or he
I
didn't.
believe that there is a
No, like just helping.
divine guidance.
I think
There's
she missed
something here
an
with this
important
note.
point with that high priestess. The first 5 books of the Bible that are the Torah, they're also called the law. And I think it's very interesting that that was put upon the courthouse card.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of legal stuff is like, I'll like fall out if the who was the other girl? The devil was one, and what was the other one? I can't remember. But if that card comes up and if the justice card pops out.
I think it was magician.
Yeah, the magician. If the magician pops up and if the justice card pops up.
The magician, it didn't pop up. She just brought it out.
Yeah, to show.
Yeah. One of these days I'll tell you guys about how I'm the high priestess, but keep going.
Okay.
Libby. Did she have a boyfriend? Which one had someone? There's something there. There's something there.
Libby was talking to the boys.
It was Miss Abby that had the sticks in her hair that can represent romance, kind of this little elf of the forest type thing, which doesn't fit in with any of this, by the way.
Well, here's the thing. Libby was the one that was found in the nude, and Abby was wearing Libby's clothes. And Libby was a bigger girl, and she was starting to become very uncomfortable with her body, and it just breaks my heart because um, her, I don't know if it was her sister or her mother, was really upset because she was like, why did she have to be the one that was in the nude? Because she was the one that was so uncomfortable with her body. And obviously, to me, I think Libby was the one they were going after. Probably. Neither one were essayed. So that's something too. But something else happened because one was nude and the other was wearing the other's clothes. And the other that was wearing the other's clothes had both bras on. So she was doubled up in layers.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to give you my opinion and my thoughts.
To me, it sounds like they were making them get undressed, and Libby was the one that managed to do it first, and then all of a sudden something happened, and then they were like, no, get dressed, and then so she's they're grabbing clothes, and for Abby, like, the bigger clothes would have been the easier clothes to put on, and then I don't know, like, that's what I envisioned, but I could be wrong.
I wonder if this is not like a Mean Girls situation, not necessarily just girls, but
Wouldn't that be something if that's what it was after all these years? Like, it was just like a bunch of girls that did it, and they're like, either the police put that, spent round there, or they dropped a spent round, and, like, it just so happened to.
yeah, I almost feel like Libby was catfished or something.
Well, that's what they thought for the longest time, that Libby was catfished, because they first arrested a guy named Keegan Klein. Is that right? Keegan Klein? Yeah, I think his name was Keegan Klein. And he was pretending to be this really handsome guy that Libby thought she was talking to online. And then he said that, I don't think he identified Richard Allen. He identified actually the farmer whose land they were found on. And yet they're like, nope, Keegan didn't do it. Nope, the farmer that lied about where he was, he didn't do it. Like, it's just really like that. That's why I don't know if Richard Allen did it, but I just know he's not getting a fair trial.
No, it
And
doesn't
I
sound
just
like
know that you couldn't say without a reasonable doubt that he did it. So I couldn't, at least. So
no.
Of course, I didn't sit there and hear every single detail too, because there's a lot that, like, people believe that he did it, because a lot of people believe his saying that he did it. A lot of people believe that he was just, eating feces to get out of his jail cell, because I guess that's a thing that people do in prison. If they want to get out of their cell, they flood it or they eat. Yeah. But yeah, and they also said that, like, people talk through the walls, so people probably said to him, just admit that you did it and you'll get to go home sooner. So maybe they say that that's why he, like, just people believe him. They believe that he did it, and I can't say, because I haven't sat there for the weeks on end, but the last 2 weeks that I've heard, I don't believe it.
I just don't know. I'm really
I think I'm gonna-
new. Huh?
Sorry, you really what?
I'm really new to this case. Like, I didn't know
Oh
anything
yeah,
about
I
it
mean,
until today.
I don't think you'd be able to say in one night whether he did it or he didn't do it, and especially since, like, it's me sitting here believing that this trial is not a fair one, and that um the evidence doesn't lean towards that he did it. But if somebody else that believes he did it sat in front of you and said all the reasons they believe that he did it, you might be like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
that's true.
sense too. But for me, I have heard all the people that have said why they believe that he did it, and I don't believe it. So I am firmly entrenched.
I'll be on the right track here. Okay, putting these to the side. I've seen enough here. Okay, this is what I'm getting from this, and this is my opinion, and time out here. This is not based on fact. This is my opinion because I'm seeing these things in the cards, okay? So I just want you to know that. Do your own research. You can come to your own opinion. I love each and every one of you, but the idea of this is to make us stop and think. I believe
you can tell
one of the perpetrators,
the YouTube crowd in the comments, they can get really harsh sometimes.
that did this.
Most are loving.
Libby knows. I believe that it is associated maybe with their school, someone that they know, because the 3 of Diamonds is an education card. It is someone, and I do believe that there was a female with him.
Yeah, a female came up again.
I believe that they may have even happened on something that they shouldn't have been seeing.
More pentacles. All these are the pentacles, aren't they? In the supposed to be.
Clubs are. Let me see. I
think they are because this is like a pentacle. I don't know.
I have my. I don't know. Hold on. I have my tarot right here. I'm looking.
Type of ritual or any of those things. But there's a lump sum of money here that looks like it's due and should be paid. I don't know what that means.
Wands. Clubs are wands.
Oh.
Legal? I don't know. But this 9 of Hearts tells us that we are on the right track and to keep digging, that we need to seek out more knowledge. This 5 of Clubs means that there was shared knowledge between Libby and this young man, who was very immature, by the way, who I believe panicked and thought if he posed them to a certain degree because there were sticks that were put on top of them. So we have a layer of the tarot, and then we have a layer of the runes. That usually doesn't happen.
Interesting. I don't want to watch it all. It sounds like she thinks that this is something that happened from school with a young man and a woman. A girl somehow is involved.
I can believe it.
It's kind of like what you just said before she said it.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
Something.
And I think they lured the girls out there, and after they were red rummed, then they did something to the phone, right? They were talking about how something was done to the phone. I think they were in there deleting and erasing evidence.
And then they stuffed it under her body. Could be. Sounds like, wow, that would be something, wouldn't it? What happened here? Hold on.
It's buffering.
There, let's go to this one. Okay, so this is the final one that we're gonna watch. I thought, and we're gonna kind of like veer off and go into a different direction where I thought it would be fun to like kind of do like a paranormal type thing. And are people reporting any paranormal events out at the trail, like around where it was happening? And this Silky Southern tea found, I don't know where she found this, but like I said, I will link it. And this is a person that's been out on the trails, and at the first part of it, she reads they had 3 experiences, and this was, I thought the third trip was the most interesting, the experience.
Cool. Let's hear it.
Okay. I don't know if it's easier for me to read it or to let her read it.
I could read it too if you wanted me to. But let's just let her do it.
Yeah, the only problem is like trying to get it at the right moment to the next page. Let me.
Oh, I see.
There, let's try it that way.
And myself. The whole trip from the beginning was strange. When we got into town, we were driving.
So I'm just going to read it to where she's at. So our trip was the beginning of August 2020, and it was just my mom and myself. The whole trip from the beginning was strange. Okay, so here we go.
On back roads over by the Packers plant and exploring the entrance to the private drive that goes under the bridge. This white pickup drives by and is laying on the horn, and when it passes us all we see is this huge claw-looking hand on the inside of the passenger side window, and it was waving at us. It just wasn't what we expected to see. I'm sure it was some boys out just acting goofy with an oversized Halloween prop, but it set the mood for the rest of the day. We stopped by the cemetery to look around the area, and again, just a strange place. Graves toward the back looked like the ground was starting to rise, almost like the way a grave should look right after a burial. The further down towards the woods you get, the creepier the cemetery becomes. We didn't stay there long before we went to the trail. It was a gray, cloudy day, and it looked like it could rain at any time, so the trail was even more dreary than usual. So we get to the memorial, and we spend a little time there, leaving some things we had brought for the girls. And I noticed 2 butterflies. They were beautiful. They were black with purple markings, and they started following us as we made our way to Monon Bridge. My mom said maybe it was a sign, because I love butterflies, and I was always saying how I never see anything beautiful out there. So maybe it was a sign of a peace trip. So they kept flying in front of us to the point where we were stopping to watch them. Looking back, it was like they were telling us not to go forward, but we did. We got almost to where you could see the bridge, and suddenly we hear what sounded like something large running through the woods towards us, and we froze, waiting to see a large animal jump out at us. We turned around because it was coming from behind us. I'm going to try my best to describe this to you. It's clear in my mind, yet so hard to describe, but here it goes. Suddenly, this thing leaps onto the trail, but never touched the ground. It was long, maybe 8 to 10 feet long, and only a foot or 2 tall. It was a brown color, but you could also see through it, but not clearly. It was leaping, but not high. It only took 1 leap to get across the trail, and then it went into the woods, and you could hear it, and you would have thought a herd of elephants were running. That's how loud it was. But then it just stopped. My mind was trying to process what I just saw, but nothing was making sense. And the feeling of seeing it was like a dark cloud was going over me, and I was witnessing something that I shouldn't be. My mom knew I was absolutely terrified, and she tried to pull herself together, and she said, "Oh, that was just deer, I think." Unfortunately, my mom has no poker face, but I love her to death for trying to make me feel. I had never seen anything like that I couldn't explain in my life. I just wanted to leave. I wanted to leave right then and there, but I was afraid to walk back that way because that's where it was. It was a horrible feeling. I didn't want to go any further, but leaving meant going towards the thing that I had just saw. So we took a minute to get ourselves together and then went on towards the bridge. I was just terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen. That was confirmation for me that something dark and unexplainable was in those woods. And
I think it's confirmation also that like when a negative, impactful energy gets sent out, that the dark energies are like attracted to that area, then like the crypto shit that happen, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think that could have been?
I don't know, but let's find out what else they see.
Okay.
And I didn't ever want to see it again. My mom,
how do you think it could have been?
They're where? What state are they in? Oh, Indiana.
It's a cryptoid of some kind.
Yeah.
or an alien. I mean,
Uh,
I don't know.
I don't know either. I can't even
I
think.
can't imagine going further. That would have been like the end of my like little adventures.
Well, they had no choice because to go back to where they came from, they would have had to have followed the creature. So they
Oh
had
yeah,
to.
that's right. That's right. Hi ho, off they go.
However, had a personality change, or at least I thought she did. It was really strange. I suddenly didn't trust her, and I was getting irritated with her, and it felt like she was pushing me to go quicker than what I was comfortable with. At one point, there was a snake that came out of nowhere, and it was following us. And my mom just picked it up like it was nothing, which she had never done before in my life. Plus, I'm afraid of snakes, so for her to pick one up and be taunting me with it was extremely out of character for her. It just didn't feel real because everything was like the opposite of how it should be. This went on for hours. She was all over the place, and I was just trying to keep up with her. And this is a woman that in other trips had trouble getting up some of the hills, and we would stop and take breaks so she could catch her breath. But not that.
Me just hauling it. Usually I'm the slowest walker, but I would have been like, let's go, let's go, let's go. We're doing this in 15 minutes. That's me though. Like, are you the type that carries in so many groceries because at once because you don't want to make
Yes,
2 trips? Yeah.
absolutely.
Suddenly I become very strong when I have to carry a bunch of groceries.
Day. She was giving me pushes up hills because I wasn't moving fast enough. To be honest, there was a few times that I felt like I wasn't with my mom down there, and I was scared, but I just went along with it because I didn't know what else to do. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's how I felt, and it was horrible. Then she started acting really disoriented, and we sat down by the creek for a while. And she didn't know where she had got all the energy from, but it was gone. And she just kept apologizing. And after
Oh.
that, I had my true.
Well, that's her adrenaline. Her adrenaline kicked in, and then once she felt she was out of danger, her body was like, "Okay, we're done."
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Partner in crime back. It was going to be getting dark, but the sky was getting dark, and we could see a bad storm was moving in. So we started heading out. We got halfway between the memorial and the Freedom Bridge and saw a woman, 2 men, and 2 little girls walking towards us. And our first thought was, why would they be heading back as it's getting dark and it's about to storm? They stopped us, and the woman started talking to my mom, and one of the guys started talking to me. I heard the woman asking my mom how far down the bridge was, and they were talking about the horrible murders of the girls there. The man talking to me was asking if that was my car in the parking lot with Illinois plates, and he said they were from Bloomington and he had never been to the trails, and started asking me questions. The other guy had a red coat on and had blonde hair, but what stood out to me was his eyes. His eyes looked like they were rolled back in his head, like I could only see the whites of his eyes, and he was walking around almost circling us, and he was making me nervous.
Oh
It
God.
was starting to rain, and I was just ready to go, and I tried to politely walk away, and the guy stood in front of me and started asking me more questions about the Monon Bridge. However, this time he grew up there and moved. Oh, and this time he said he grew up there and moved away and hadn't been there in years, but the blonde still lived there. So I'm thinking, then why are you asking me? I looked
Well,
over at my mom, and she's talking to the woman and the kids, but I see she had her eye on the blonde that was circling us. Again, I said we needed to get on the road before it got dark, and this time this guy blocked my path and reached in the pocket of his oversized white hoodie and pulled out a gun.
oh my
He
God.
didn't just pull it all the way out, just enough to show it to me. He didn't say anything. He was just smiling and nodding. Literally, it felt like my legs were about to give out from under me.
Oh my
But at
God.
that moment, I felt my mom grab my arm, and I felt comfort, like, okay, mom's telling me to stay cool, and she's got this. I remember mom saying that there was no light back there at the bridge, and to be safe, and we had to go, and then we were walking towards Freedom Bridge. Well, she was basically guiding me with her arm in mine, and she kept looking behind us, and she said, oh my God, the way that blonde was looking at you and circling you, getting closer and closer, I was about to clock him. I said, did you see the gun? Well, no, she had not. She grabbed my arm, and in that moment, because of the blonde and how he invaded my space and the way he was acting, so when I told her what the other guy had in his pocket, she was shocked. We ran across Freedom Bridge to get to our car and get out of there. The situation was so strange, we decided to call the police department and just have them check it out and make sure the women and those two little girls were really all right with those two weirdos. Why would you want to take little kids back there when it's already getting dark? And those girls were both under the age of 6 or 7, plus it was starting to storm. I think I was in shock from the whole day because my description of the guys was horrible, but my mom gave an amazing description from head to toe of both guys and the woman and the kids. And they did send someone out there to the trail to check it out. I don't know what happened after that. We got on the road. I was really freaked out by that guy paying so much attention to my license plate. On the way home, we were just going over all the possibilities of what the thing we had seen on the trail could have possibly been. We both saw the same thing. We just don't know what it was, or why we saw it, and why there in that spot. We were about halfway home, maybe a little closer, and we were going over an underpass, and suddenly the wheel jerked to the left, and we went up on the concrete median and into oncoming traffic. Thank God there was barely any traffic, and I was able to get control of the car back, but there was no reason at all for that to happen. I felt the wheel jerk like someone grabbed it with an extreme amount of force. It was terrifying. I drove the rest of the way home, gripping the wheel so hard that my knuckles were white. I have never had so many terrifying experiences happen back to back to back. I got a lot more than I ever expected going to that town and that trail. Believe it or not, we have talked about going back, but only if we had a group of people with us. We would never go
Good
alone
idea.
again. I guess curiosity and the unknown can be irresistible.
Oh, okay, so I feel like there could be a few possibilities here. I feel like it was either like a Men in Black type experience, or they were trying to rob them and they just didn't get it. Like the mom didn't see the gun or the pew pew, and she guided her away, and she was like, "Not today." And the robbers were like, "What?" And so I don't know. I think it was one of those two things. What do you think?
I am feeling like it's aliens.
Aliens?
Yep.
So yeah.
Remember that TV show Third Rock from the Sun?
The family lived together, or
Yeah.
the aliens lived as a family.
Yeah, that's what
Well, he
that's
did
what I'm
say that
getting.
his eyes looked white and bulging and weird, but
Yeah.
that could just be a bad thyroid too.
I'm thinking it's aliens that are new to our planet who maybe don't know how to act.
To play it cool at first. And you guys were not laughing at the situation because it's horrible, but you got to make light of life.
That is true. Yeah, but that's what I'm getting. Aliens.
Aliens, yeah.
Mhm.
It was one of the two. Obviously.
Right.
What else could it wasn't people going back to see the memorial for sure.
Didn't sound like it, no.
Oh boy. Young teens. Well, but they said it was a girl with her kids and then 2 boys. So I think it was like kids and a woman, and I don't know how old the boys were.
Yeah, I was getting the feeling that they were young men.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I misunderstood. Yeah, the girls, Abby and Libby, one was 13 and the other was 14. The two victims in this. And I don't know which one you were talking about, which one she was reading. You must have meant one of the tarot decks. And I didn't even hear what the decks were that she was using, to be honest. Did you?
I don't think she said.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because I didn't hear what those 1 cards that she whipped out that took us like 10 minutes to figure out what they were. What is that?
I wonder if she has it in her in her description.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. And I will put the link down below and you can do some investigating if you want. We watch so much and I can't watch all of them because some of the videos are like 3-4 hours long. So I have to do a lot of scanning and just trying to figure it out. And then we couldn't possibly watch them all. Okay, I think that one of the problems with our justice system is that we have it from state to state to state to state. It's different, and it needs to be more universal. And that's all I'll say about that. Okay.
All right. Well, are we done then?
Week. Yep. See you next Sunday.
Yep. See you next Sunday. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Okay, guys, that's all we have for tonight. I was just rambled on there towards the end. You can tell I haven't talked to anybody in a few days. Whenever I don't talk to anyone in a few days, I talk. I'm a talker. All right. Thank you, Hollywood, for being here. Thank you, Heavenly, for being the best moderator. Thank you, Chris C, for being the other best moderator. I don't think I saw too many into the weeds. Thank you for being here. Amber, hi. 7 were involved. I don't know what I was talking about. They thought maybe 7 people were involved. Anyway, if I missed you, I'm sorry, but thank you for being here. And I'm going to go. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Join the Dragonfly community. We would love to have you. And if nobody's told you this today, and you know what? Even if they have, I'm still going to tell you this. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Guys, welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Carefully strumming this old guitar again, words rolling out